What's up, you Weeb Trash? We're Weeb Trash as well. I'm Cody,
I'm Dean.
and Sevi may or may not be dead again. We'll find out next week or whenever he comes back. If he comes back, because maybe he's dead. We don't know. I mean,
We don't know.
obviously, I guess technically we don't know, but we assume that he is not dead. Hopefully he's not dead. That'd be bad. Anime is existing. This season is slowly spinning up, so we don't have a lot to talk about because we didn't watch a lot this week. So prepare for some rambles and some weird tangents and stuff. But one thing we did watch that I know at least Dean and I watched, and that is Overlord Season 4. Episode 1 has a dub. It is...
One episode.
I think the sub is 2 or 3 in. But yeah, it's one episode dub. Obviously, we didn't get a lot because it's the first episode of the season. But the only thing I noted, other than Ain's new swag, was Albedo still wants to be with Bone Daddy.
Man, she was thirsty for it.
She is big thirsty for bones.
Yeah, she wants the bone.
All about that life. I did like that. Was it Aura, the cross-dressing one, was like
the Dark Elf twins?
Yeah, the lady, one of them, was like kind of poking fun at her because she knows that she's really trying to get with Heinz and can't do it. I thought that was amusing.
I really liked that episode. It was more, I don't know, because it's like I really like the characters in the show, and it was a lot of interaction between them, and it's obviously more setting up for like there's a holy war eventually happening. So it's like setting up the kingdom because he took over the capital. But like I think Sevi did the same thing, but it was like Monday last week. So I started watching season 3 because I was in the middle of rewatching Overlord anyway, and like I watched like the first 2 seasons like a month ago. Whenever I was reading the book, the audiobook, and then like I would listen to the audiobook at work, and then I'd come home and watch a few episodes and kind of like just get a better feel for like what the difference is between the source material and the show, because there's a whole lot more stuff in the book, which makes me just appreciate the actual like source, the light novel. It makes me appreciate it even more, and it's nice to have it in audiobook form because I really like Chris Guerrero. I like Ain's voice actor, and being able to hear more of that is like, it's awesome, like fangirling.
Yeah, it is pretty unique to have that. It like I
get
think
more
I
of
did check.
Ain's.
Yeah, it's like I can't think of a lot of other mediums that do that. That's like actually kind of an addition, more so to the like actual watching experience, because it's the same like, voice actors you get.
It's like I love the show so much, and now I get the show obviously in like audio form, but I get everything around it and like more in-depth detail to things that are happening. Not so much in this in the 4th book that I'm reading, because it's all lizard bin, and man, let me tell you, like I'm at the point now where it's going to be the duel between Cocytus. So like they had the lizard war, and then the lizard sex was happening, and then it's just now like getting to the point where Cocytus is going to Ain's for his punishment, which is going to tell him, it's like, yeah, you have to fight him yourself and all that. But that's the chapter that I stopped on. But holy shit, it's like 6 chapters in.
Cool.
Those 6 chapters of just nothing. I mean, there's a couple parts where it's like Ain's and talking about things that are happening, and then there's like some little parts in the Slain Theocracy, just a little bit of stuff that's sprinkled in there, but it's mostly lizard people. And it's about like the fishing and the economy and the war that happened that you don't see because it was in the past, and the tribe splitting up. And I mean, I like Zaryusu Shasha, whatever the fuck his name is.
Yeah,
I like him, so like it's okay. And I like Rororo, which is the Hydra. pet that he has.
Yeah.
And man, okay, listen, like they were in detail about him almost dying, like when they were fighting the Elder Lich at the end.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, this is making me feel for a fucking Hydra, bro. Like, because it's like he was like Hydras normally have like 8 to 12 heads or something like that, and he only had 4, so he was abandoned in the nest. And then the lizard Zariasu raised him, and he was like, it was Kagome. Like Roro always wondered like why he looked so different from his parents because they were lizard men. He's like, maybe eventually I'll get older and then stand on 2 legs. And I was just like, man, are you making me have feels?
Are you making me feel for this fucking Hydra?
For this fucking Hydra, and like he's charging it down, and the Elder Lich is just blasting it with fireballs, and it's like he feels his flesh burning, and it's like going in detail about. I was like, dude, this is horrifying.
Yeah.
I was like I wish I didn't care about this fucking giant Hydra, but I do.
Books, they're it's magic.
Like, you know, you spend 4 hours listening to Lizardmen. I only got attached to the fucking pet.
I mean, you know, it's better than nothing at all, I guess. But
I guess.
That's a rough.
But overall, it's like, man, get some other shit going on.
Yeah. I did imagine you're ready for some non-lizard based antics.
Yeah, because I think there's 4 hours left of the book, so hopefully it ends in the next hour.
Yeah, that's a lot of lizard. That's a lot of lizard.
I'm excited to get to because since I binge watched in an entire day season 3, because I got home from work and I was like, well, I'm gonna start season 3 before I start the first episode of season 4. It says I started season 3, watched all of it, and it was like 9 something, and I started episode 1 of season 4. So I binged all of it in a day, and I'm excited to get to the when they invade Nazarick. I'm excited to hear that in the books, because then they get teleported to different like guardians and stuff.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
It's just Ainz murdering people.
Yeah, you get the real big heel turn there. I guess
it's the part where like the weird part of the fandom's like, why is he just killing these people? I was like, bro, because he's an overlord.
Because he's kind of a bad guy.
Yeah, like he's not a good guy. Like, I don't know what you want.
Yeah. I did like that they did include it's not really a callback, but Ainz is still very set in like, if someone else exists in this world, if I get the name of Nazarick out there, they'll come find me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I get it, bro, but you've seen one player that was a dragon like fucking 3 seasons ago.
He hasn't even shown up in the books yet.
The dragon?
Like, I don't know. Yeah, it's not in the books yet. Like, where the fuck is that scene?
I wonder if that just like that's an anime original thing that they didn't reorder or something. So it's not gonna happen in the books or something.
Like, obviously the books aren't done, and I don't know how far they've gone, and I haven't read past the 5th one, but like, I have a theory of like what's going on. Like, I think he still might be the only player like ever transported, because in the beginning they talk about how there's 9 worlds, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking maybe the dragon stuff, maybe he was transported, maybe Ainz was and Nazarick was transported to another world. Like, they're not in Yggdrasil, obviously.
Yeah.
But maybe it's another world in that realm, you know? Because it says there's like 9 worlds, and he listed them all off, and it's basically like the worlds in the Nordic religion, mythology. So, and maybe that dragon knows of Yggdrasil, of another world. So maybe he's not even a player character. Like,
yeah, maybe.
And they did explain, like, they're like, oh, over the mountains there's like people that still have like dragon blood in them. So maybe that's why he is a character, that he's a person that can, either he's a dragon that can take the form of a person, because obviously he wore armor in a fight, because it showed a flashback where he fought Shaltir.
Yeah,
it was like a quick flash, and like that's why his armor, so he got beat or whatever. But so like maybe he's a dragon that can transform into a human, or opposite. I don't know. But no, it hasn't shown up in the books yet, and I'm getting really irritated.
Yeah, it does kind of
I
make me
don't. I
wonder.
don't want to Google it.
Yeah, you don't want to look it up, but it does
No.
make me curious as to whether or not any other players exist.
Yeah, it'd be funny if like there's just no other players, and it's just it's like you're not. You're from Yggdrasil, which is another world instead of an actual game. So I don't know.
Overlord, it exists and it's doing things.
But then there's that stupid bitch that has the fucking Rubik's Cube, and they're like, yeah, this is from like the Elder, this is like 200 years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, the fuck. Who knows? I'm not. I know Sevi's really interested in that, but I'm not.
Yeah. I mean, that
Okay.
is kind of one of the things that Overlord does really well, is anytime it tries to do like a trope or a different storyline or something that's not typical for an isekai like this, it does it pretty well. Like, I don't think I've seen anything that I'm like, this show just isn't hitting this spot really well.
Right.
Like, everything they've done, whether it's like regular ass boring human characters or interesting human characters or any of the Nazariq or any of that, all of it works pretty well.
Yeah.
Overlord.
Overlord.
10.
Yeah, pretty good. Really liking it. Do like his swag, his
Yeah.
red robes with the jewels.
He's looking pretty good. He's
For some reason,
still a big skeleton, but
yeah, it's so funny whenever he's wearing something else. Because when he wears his fucking god tier robes, he looks so wide. I'm like, what is?
Yeah.
I just want to know what is he wearing?
yeah.
Because the shoulder pads of that thing is like 6 feet long.
Yeah, I just like to think that like there's a hanger inside the robes that he has to wear with it so that it sits upright.
Because he's not a big skeleton. He's a regular skinny. I mean, he's really tall, but like he's a skeleton, so he's not wide.
Yeah.
Because he wears other outfits, and he's just like you see him in the bath, and he's just a skeleton.
Yeah, and like when he's got the like just regular ass like robe, not like a fancy cloak, but like an actual just like leisure robe.
It's like not that wide. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like he looks like a regular skeleton. But
rewatching I can't remember if I texted you or if I texted Sevi, and I was rewatching season 3, and it was to the goat part with the really bad CG.
yeah.
I'm like, man, this is still fucking terrible.
Yeah, that was probably Sevi, but I agree, it's fucking awful looking.
It started with the Goblin Army. That's when it started with the really bad CG.
I think the Goblin Army looks passable for the most part. Like, it's not great, but
when she blew into it a second time, and they had like the riders and the mages and stuff.
Yeah,
but that's when it started. Like, oh, that's a lot of CG.
Yeah,
and then it got to that battle, and like all the soldiers are CG, and then they do the big goat, fucking 4 of them, and they're all CG, and it just looks really weird. Because I think it's because the landscape was not CG; it was flat,
Yeah.
and it just looked really weird. It looked like some weird Photoshop.
Yeah, it didn't look great. It looked pretty rough, and those goat things just by themselves look real bad to begin with. So,
Yeah.
Like, because and this is something I've mentioned before, like Vinland Saga, whenever they have a big fight, like a big battle, most of it is like when they're doing wide shots CG, but it's so far away, no individual piece is too large to where you can really tell. Like, if you're paying attention, you can obviously see, oh, it's CG, but it doesn't look bad because it's not in focus. But that whole like last big battle of season 3 looks real rough in a lot of spots, especially with the goats.
Hey, Cody.
Yeah. What?
I started Vinland Saga.
Fuck yeah. So are you watching the English dub on Netflix?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because that was something I forgot to note down, but I've watched the 2 episodes, like first 2, just to see.
In Japanese?
No. So Vinland Saga is fucking stupid for this. Sentai
Nordic?
Filmworks brought. I almost kind of wish, and this is something I'll kind of mention in this whole stupid Sentai Filmworks rant.
Yeah.
So Sentai Filmworks, I don't know the timeline, but they got the English rights for Vinland Saga, and had no intention of streaming it anywhere. They were going to do a home video release.
Right.
Netflix in general, maybe just in Japan, but regardless, was like, oh, we'll dub Vinland Saga because we have it on Netflix Japan. We have the Japanese dub everywhere else, basically. But they couldn't release the fucking Netflix dub in America because Sentai Filmworks had the English licensing rights in the US. So when I watched it, I watched the Sentai Filmworks dub. And Viking stuff and a lot of other things, but anything where your main character doesn't speak English, but you're doing an English dub, and they're interacting with anyone else that speaks a different language has this issue. You'll get to it more later on once they get to like England and stuff, but
I'm in like episode 9.
What was the last thing that happened?
He challenged him to a duel again and got his ass whooped.
Okay, so this is like probably the second duel then? Or maybe the first child one?
It's not child. He's like a teenager. He's got 2 daggers now.
Okay, so he's
it
cool
was,
Thorfinn.
It was after it was he's cool Thorfinn. It was after they beat that castle and they're going back home for the winter.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about. So a little bit with the French as well, with the Franks at that part. But
I noticed it because whenever he went, it was that granny that saved him. Because he was speaking. Because I wasn't really like, I was watching, but I wasn't like really realizing that he was in another country.
Yeah.
She was just talking to him and he wasn't answering. And then like she was combing his hair and he's like, I know a little bit of what you say. And I'm like, wait a minute, are they speaking different languages?
Yeah.
Are they supposed to be speaking different languages? Because they didn't really clarify that they were.
Yeah. So like the Sentai Filmworks one tries to do different accents.
See, that's what I think they should have done.
The only issue with that is in that one, Thorfinn, like your main cast basically.
Yeah.
None of them have accents.
Right.
So whenever they interact with the English and the English have like heavy English accents, you're like, that's kind of weird, but okay. But when they start running into the other Vikings that speak like with, not all of them do, which is also very confusing, but they have like slight accents and you're just like, oh, but why my bros not have accents and stuff? I mean, I don't think either one's bad, and I'm only 2 episodes into the Netflix one, but I don't think there's a good way to do it, because like Vikings, the Netflix live action Viking show has this issue that whenever they go to like England or a different country that speaks a different language, whenever the show is trying to tell you, hey, these people are not speaking the same language, which is always like Nordic, I guess, because the English speak English, you understand them for the most part.
Because he was like even saying, does anyone speak Norse?
Yeah. In Vikings, when they do it is they'll start the like first few words of a sentence in the other language and then carry on in English. So I'm like, that's kind of okay, but it also is a little weird. But I also like, I don't have a big problem with it because I don't know what I want in this instance. Like, there's not a good way to do it, but hell yeah, Vinland Saga is so fucking good, bro. Like, God.
It took a little bit because I don't give a shit about kids.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
like,
Once Thorfinn gets to be
really
angry teenager, he's fucking cool.
Yeah, I didn't really care about him. It was like, oh, his dad's a fucking badass.
Yeah,
though.
his dad fucking
Thor's.
Yeah.
I was like, man, he just beat the shit out of everybody. He didn't kill anybody. He just beat the shit out of them.
Yeah, Thor's a fucking hardcore. Like, you don't see anyone at his level, I don't think, at any other point in the show. Like, Thor doesn't fucking care.
I was like, this dude is fucking OP, and they killed him off.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
You do get some cool things with, like, Thor's backstory later on. Like his life before Thorfinn and his sister, so you get a little bit of that.
I mean, Mans did have a point. He did abandon war.
Yeah,
to desert the army.
Yeah,
I get it.
It is really odd because they
desertion faked his death.
Well, yeah, because like when they do start delving a little bit more into like Thor's the troll, I guess is kind of that story arc for him. Yeah. They talk about how interconnected he was with like that, not necessarily the royal family, but like one of the more prominent earldoms, and like he was kind of related to some of them, and like it was a huge big thing, and certain characters were real tore up that he was dead, and then like they find out he wasn't dead, and they're like, what the same fuck happened here?
Right. I
But
swam away.
yeah, I'm really fucking excited for season 2 to come out. I think it comes out later this year. Because we get like adult Thorfinn, but he's like super sad and depressed. So, but he comes back to be cool Thorfinn, I think, from what like panels and stuff I've seen. But goddamn, Vinland Saga is like,
It's pretty good. It picked up really well.
yeah. Once it picks up, it goes. You'll probably hit a point where like it turns slightly more political, and you get a lot more Osclod, but it gets hot.
I'm sure that's like where I'm at because it's the winter, so like nothing really is going to be happening in the winter.
Oh, you'll know because you'll find Welsh people, and then you'll be like, "What the fuck are the Welsh doing here?" And then you're like, "Oh, I guess they reside in the same country, but
yeah,
why are you here?" Like, you're not at war with the Vikings, but it's the whole thing.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I liked all the fights are cool. The Thorfinn being Dagger Boy.
Yeah, Thorfinn gets fucking hard. Every fight Thorfinn has is good.
Fucking murdering all these people.
Yeah.
And he was doing so good in the duel, and then he let his emotions. I knew that was gonna fucking happen.
Yeah.
I knew it. I was like, he's gonna make him lose his cool because he's too composed.
Yeah, he like it gets this weird thing of like you get used to him trying to duel Osclod and him getting kind of wrecked, and you're like, yeah, I mean Thorfinn's like cool in other fights, he's good, but Osclod doesn't seem like he's that big of a hard ass. But you do get like 1 or 2 fights with him that you're like, oh shit, this guy's actually really good.
So like with Osclod, like all he does is he constantly says he doesn't care about him, but I'm feeling like he actually does care about him.
Yeah, it doesn't like
because like he's been with him for like 5 years, for a couple of years.
Yeah, he's with him for a hot minute.
Because he was like 6 or something in the beginning, or 4.
Yeah, he was like a small child basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's 6 because I think in like episode 1 or 2
they say something about him beating up other children. I forgot.
Yeah, he beats up older kids, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's crazy. A 6-year-old could like break this kid's arm."
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, bro, that's pretty hardcore.
He was 5. Wait.
Okay.
Yeah, he was 5 at the beginning.
Alright, so yeah, he's like 11,
yeah, he's like
12
5 or 6
probably
yeah.
by the time.
Yeah.
By the time this one's over, I think he's like 15 or 16, but I don't 100% know.
Because Oscalot, he's not like a fucking hard ass, so there's no way he doesn't like not like give a shit about this kid.
Yeah,
even Bjorn cares about the kid. You could tell that.
Yeah, like they do have a.
And he seems like a cunt.
Yeah, Bjorn gets better over like the more time you just spend with him. Bjorn turns out slightly okay. It's a weird reversal because then like Oscalod, you're like, God damn, Oscalod, you are fucking like cruel as hell, dude.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's his job. Like he's like, it's always a hard decision type thing. He's a leader. He's trying to do a thing. Yeah. But yeah, it's so good. Like it's one of those things that every time I watch it or every time I hear anyone talk about it, I'm like, maybe I should give Kingdom a chance. But then I look at how fucking awful the CG is, and I'm like,
it's what's kept me away from starting it.
Yeah, I'm just like, I've got like 2 or 3 episodes in before, and I'm like, this is so bad looking.
There's supposed to be a new season coming out too, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's like in season 4 or 5. Like it's been going, so there's probably something to it. But yeah, God, Vinland Saga is so good though.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it, so I'm gonna keep that.
Yeah, what do you think of that OP?
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it slaps. It's so good.
It's a pretty good opening.
Yeah, the second one I don't think is as good, but the first one, it hits pretty good.
It goes pretty hard. Yeah, I'm pretty fan of that. I don't think I watched anything else.
Oh shit. Okay. So I did watch a fair bit. I took a break from Fallout and doing other shit for the Gunpla Network this week, for the most part. I still played a lot of Fallout, but just not as much.
Nice.
I'm actually getting through that game. I'm slowly but surely. So I didn't realize when I was scrolling through the simulcast list for the season, I'd seen that Tonikawa was getting a special or some OVA or some shit. So I went to go look, and I was like, oh, I just never finished the series. It's like, I got 12 episodes into a 13-episode series. And I watched it, and that 13th episode's kind of wild. Like, it's a lot more risque. Not that it's super risque, but it's, like, for what it is. Still a really good show. Like, if you're wanting a kind of a weird, quirky romance, it's a good one. This season, Aim Warriors at the Borderline is getting its dub for its second season. It's Sunrise's redheaded stepchild mecha this season. They always have one or two every couple of years that come out, and they do okay, but it's so they can sell model kits. It's actually really good. Like, it reminds me how much I missed, like, just regular ass 2D mech. Or maybe it's CG. I think it is 2D though, but it looks good. The model kits look good. It's a lot less Gundam in its design. It's more just looks like industrial machinery basically. But it looks good. I got through episode 14 to 21, which is where it is currently. So it's kind of starting to get to its final few episodes this season. I might check out one of those models at some point, but it's good. If you're looking for a mech war show, it's pretty okay. It's a glowing review. It's not Gundam, but it is good in its own right. Caught up, or I guess technically caught up on A Couple of Cuckoos. It's not done yet, but it is still going. It's still funny. It's not like anything super special to write home about, and it's got a couple of weird moments, but it's pretty decent romance. The setup's kind of unique. It's the switched at birth thing, and then like one set of parents is uber rich, and the other one's like kind of super poor, but they run their own restaurant, and kind of seeing the disparities of these characters, it's kind of interesting, but it's all right. It's nothing crazy, but it's pretty good. It's like a 6 or a 7. Not my favorite thing, but it's pretty fun. Then Overlord, of course, we watched that. I watched, because it's like one of the few things that has a dub right now, Lucifer in the Biscuit Hammer, because it's like that name is fucking dumb, and the show is equally as stupid, but I love it because it understands how dumb it is. So I'm trying to think. Hold on, let me see what the actual first episode's titled, because it was... I get the vibe this show is just going to be every single episode is going to kind of mirror the show and its stupidity. Okay, yeah, so episode 1 is... I'm gonna fucking butcher this. Amamiya, Yuhi, and the Lizard Knight.
More lizards.
And it is a lizard. Not like a lizard man, it's just a fucking lizard. But it talks to him, and it's like, yo, we gotta do some shit. And he's like, nah, you're a fucking lizard, get away from me. It seems like it might be kind of interesting. I think it's just going to be kind of kooky, and that's going to be what it leans into.
Kooky.
So, it'll be dumb fun, maybe. It was pretty okay for the first episode, so if it builds more into its mystery, it'll be kind of okay. It does explain the name, so that's kind of cool. But yeah.
What's the explanation on the name?
So from my understanding, and they may elaborate more, there is no one's particularly named Lucifer, but the main character is influenced by somebody else that he's like, I'm gonna follow this Lucifer to the end of the world. So it kind of just calling them a devil. Maybe it's a translation thing. The Biscuit Hammer is the impending doom. It's just a giant fucking hammer in space that's like, I'm gonna hit the Earth and it's gonna kill everyone.
I feel like I've seen screens of that.
Yeah, it's fucking dumb looking, but
Can you talk about this?
I don't even know.
I feel like I remember seeing, maybe it was like in a like a video talking about this, like the other half of summer, like seasonal anime that's coming out, and maybe it was like in short previews, because I feel like I've seen that visual.
Yeah, because it's...
And I was like, this looks fucking stupid.
Yeah, so they call it a biscuit hammer, and the
Yeah.
justification that the fucking lizard gives is... I mean, I guess the name itself just is its name, but he's like, it'll crush the world like a biscuit cracker. And I'm like...
They call it a biscuit.
Yeah, I'm just like... Is a biscuit hammer a real thing? Is this a Japanese thing that we're just not familiar with? Maybe it's a weird translation thing, because like I have seen things talking about like Kill la Kill's name could also have been dressed to kill, because the word for dressed and kill in Japanese is kind of similar.
Right.
And I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense, but whatever. So maybe that's this, because this is fucking just weird. I'm probably gonna keep watching it though, because unless something else really good comes out, I might just kind of stick with this. The last thing I watched though that I'm at least in terms of anime that I actually quite liked, and I'm very excited for its second season, which is currently going, is Classroom of the Elite.
I looked at the page this morning.
Yeah, I've seen people talk about it, and I was like, well, maybe I'll give it a try, because I've never, like, when people would talk about it, it wasn't ever like the show, it was just like a scene. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I kind of went into it blind, watched all of season 1, because all of season 1's got its dub finished. I might actually read the novel for this, because everyone says the novel's way better. But like the anime is not bad. But basically, kind of the setup is there's a school. It's like the highest rated high school in Japan. Like, it's very exclusive. But it's not like a monetary thing. Like, you paying your way in does not get you in necessarily. It's right. The school will accept you if you have certain things they're looking for, basically. And they don't really tell people what they're looking for. So everyone assumes it's the normal grades, extracurriculars, volunteer shit. But they have it as a secluded thing. So once you get in, you don't leave campus unless the school is like sending you on vacation or something. Like,
right.
And it's then the school goes on vacation. It's not you as an individual. So the campus has everything they need. It's got like a mall. It's got a bunch of shops, like even specialty shops like cameras and electronics. It's like got a whole thing. Then of course all the school shit, gyms, pools, whatever. But they can't leave, and the school gives them money to spend on campus because they can't go out and work. So they have to do that. But there's a twist in like the second or third episode that the class gets a certain amount of points, and that's how they tell how many points you're getting as an individual to spend. It's I think 1 point equals like 1 yen, so it equates pretty directly. But they start out the semester with like 100,000 yen, and a bunch of them are like, holy shit, dude, this is crazy. I think it's like $10,000 or something, or maybe 1,000. I can't remember exactly, but understandably, a bunch of them go crazy and just fucking buy a bunch of dumb shit. Then the next month rolls around, and they're like, why didn't we get our points? And they're like, well, you didn't do jack shit. Most of you skipped class. Most of you slept. So you don't get points. And then it starts devolving into this really interesting mystery of why each individual person is there and what the school is actually trying to do. Because like everyone in the show feels like they have a nefarious side that you either get to see or it's kind of teased, but they don't show you directly. And that kind of includes the main character, who, from what I've heard, is like in the novels much more of like a light Lelouch style character, where they're very intelligent, they've got all these plans. And the people kind of complain in the show he feels like he's just lazy and just doesn't do anything until he has to. And I can see that. Like, it makes sense. He's kind of that character. It's pretty good. There are some instances in it with being kind of the nature of a high school based show has, anime angles are weird type scenes and some fan servicey stuff, but it's pretty sparse. It doesn't happen a whole lot, and they don't really, for the most part, it's not like it never usually typically detracts from the show. Like, it's kind of inconvenient that it's there. It's like, I really kind of wish this wasn't, but there are a couple instances where it's like, oh, okay, this is here for a narrative reason. It's pretty good. I'm gonna watch it. I think the mystery behind everything is probably gonna get really good. You've got, after the kind of the end of the first season, you've got the introduction pretty much of all the important people in the different classes, is you have 4 classes per grade, basically. A being the kind of top dogs, we get all the good points and money and shit, and right. Class D getting fucking nothing because they're the defective ones, as they call them. So yeah, I mean, you get to really see kind of a weird dual-sided blade type situation where in some instances the Class D's defects or whatever end up being useful to them, whereas like you see some Class A, Class B, Class C people have these problematic tendencies that usually kind of fuck them up. But yeah, it's really interesting. I think this will probably be the closest to a mystery style show we'll have that's not the best, but also pretty interesting. So I would keep watching it. The second season's supposed to be getting its dub. Currently, only the French dub has come out for the second season for some fucking reason.
Hell yeah.
Guess it's super popular in France or some shit. It's like I'm checking right now because now I'm just like, did they just put the English dub in the French one? I don't know.
Right.
But yeah, I keep looking and it's not there, and I'm really upset about this because I was really excited. Like, I literally started watching it because I knew it was getting a second season and I'd heard some stuff, but yeah, it's pretty good. And that's all the anime I have watched this week.
Yeah, because I was seeing, I was trying to go through to see what I wanted to watch. Because it's like, I don't want to watch something else because there's nothing else going on.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was that was on there because it was simulcast or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I was looking into it, but I might look into it.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. We'll see once things start getting a dub and we start getting to actually watch stuff. What will kind of be my favorite of this season? It might be up there. But Overlord, of course. I feel like this is maybe gonna be the sleeper hit maybe for me individually. Okay. Because like Overlord, I feel like it's gonna be Spy Family, and that it's just really hype and everyone's expecting it to be good, and it's going to live up to that. I hope. I assume. But Classroom of the Elite, like, as much as I've seen people kind of talk about certain scenes, I've not heard a lot of people be like, yo, this show fucking crazy. Like, it's kind of not under the radar, but kind of just barely above it. So, I'm excited to see how that goes. There are probably going to be a few other shows I start. I just don't know what they're going to be yet. 'Cause like we've said, if it's not going to get a dub, we're probably not going to regularly watch it, at least, because you have to focus on it. So
it's like the one thing I couldn't decide with Overlord if I was going to watch it week to week, or if I was just going to wait for it to come out so I can watch it. But like, there's nothing else to occupy my time, so I'm just gonna have to watch it week to week, unless I find something else. But unless I start looking, I don't think there's really anything else.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking right now, just to see. It looks like that Licorice Recoil
Yeah.
has a Portuguese and Spanish dub, but no English dub.
Nice.
So I'm not going to be watching that. Black Summoner just got its first episode of an English dub, so I might watch that.
Oh, did it really?
Yeah.
I didn't see it this morning. Must have been.
Yeah,
must have been later. Yeah.
Been like recent.
It was like 6:30 in the morning when I was looking.
Yeah, it might have been a little too early.
Even on my days off, I'm up by like 6 o'clock.
I'm trying to think of because there's other things. There were a couple of things I was gonna watch that like had been going that are like I thought about for a minute watching Rent a Girlfriend because the second season's coming out, but I'm like, I'm not that desperate yet. Like,
were you joking? Would you? Or talking about watching Worlds? In there?
Yeah.
Or did you actually watch the first episode?
No, I don't think it has a dub. I mean, if it gets a dub, I might watch it for the joke. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh my god.
I do. One thing I will absolutely be watching that I super forgot about until just now, as I was looking through the Crunchyroll dub list. This came out, I think, last season or the season before, because I remember Gigic or Mother's Basement or someone talking about it. It's called Life with an Ordinary Guy Who Reincarnated into a Total Fantasy Knockout. And it's these two like Japanese salarymen get isekai'd, and one of them turns into an attractive female, but he's still mentally that guy. And the guy's friend that got isekai'd with him is like, shit, we have to leave before I fall in love with you, because he doesn't want to bang his friend.
I remember seeing this.
Yeah, so I think
I couldn't remember what it was called, but I remember him talking about that. And I was like, yeah, I remember that time two bros got isekai'd and one's a chick.
Yeah, it just got its first dub episode, so I'm going to probably watch that pretty shortly. There's something else.
It seems like it would be a good comedy one.
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty funny. And there was something else that has like gone on. I'll probably catch up on Kaguya-sama because I'm like 6 or 7 episodes behind now.
I honestly don't think I'll ever watch it.
It is like, if you don't want a romance show, but kind of like a little bit, it's really good because it's mostly just funny.
Listen, I never know if I want a romance show. That's what was so special about Love After World Domination.
Kaguya-sama,
I don't watch slice of life. I don't watch romance.
Yeah.
Like, goddamn, did I watch Love After World Domination every fucking week?
I think Kaguya-sama has the same type of comedy, just without the setting.
Okay.
So, like, minus the Power Ranger thing.
And see, that's probably what did it for me. The Power Ranger Sentai. Because the only other thing I've been doing was getting back into more Power Ranger shit. Because I've been listening to videos at work about like the Shattered Grid and the Lord and the Drakon stuff. And so I've been kind of getting back into that. And then I was like, I remember I started buying them when they were coming out, and now there's just way too fucking many.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Boom really knew what they were making. Like, they didn't know like what they had in their hands. Like, it's like they didn't know. Cody's dying real quick.
I'm fine. I'm back.
I heard Taylor in the background too. Are you both sick?
No, she just coughs a lot.
Oh. Probably being in your vicinity.
Yeah, probably. It's my I don't even know what would make people cough being in my vicinity, but whatever it would be.
I don't think when Boom was making that, I don't think they knew what they had in their hands, as it's basically Power Rangers but for adults.
Yeah, because
like it's a very mature storyline. You know, it's life and death. People are dead. It's very it's not like your campy kids show.
Yeah,
it took off, and they're like, holy shit, like this is super popular.
Yeah, It does make me kind of interested to see if they'll like actually get to do anything with it as far as like adaptations and stuff go.
Right.
Because like you're seeing a similar trend, oddly enough, with Kamen Rider and Ultraman. Because after Shin Godzilla, the next project Anno went to was Shin Kamen Rider, which is supposed to be like a dark retelling of OG Kamen Rider, and I'm like, I'm here for this. Like,
Kamen Rider looks dope though.
yeah, like for someone who's never watched Kamen Rider, I can appreciate a lot of the design, and I'm like, you give me some dark gritty shit, I'm here for it. But I also just saw the first trailer for Shin Ultraman, and it looks pretty good too. And I'm not as big a fan of Ultraman in terms of design, but I might give it a try. We'll see.
It's a very simple design, but it's also the time period it was made in.
Yeah, because even like the Netflix has their like CG one, which out of CG anime is actually not terrible looking, surprisingly. Its designs are a little bit more like Iron Man-y. It's more of like an actual mecha suit versus like just we're in latex because it's all we could afford in the 60s and 70s because that's all that exists.
That's all that it was.
Yeah, but like dark gritty shit coming from nostalgic stuff, I think is good because there was that like short Power Rangers film thing, like let's say a couple of years ago. It's probably like closer to 5. The guy that did Castlevania, the animated series, did. That was just like a fan project. It wasn't like an official thing. That was fucking cool. And then there have been a couple of Power Ranger fan projects that are just like cool on the side stuff. That there's like the Unworthy stuff. It's like a YouTube thing. Then some of it adapts kind of like some of the Shattered Grid stuff. And then there's another one that I think is either a tie-in to that or something else that had like Andros come back to do other shit or something. I can't exactly remember, but
Andros.
But Power Ranger shit.
That was the pretty boy, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was
Andros.
Yeah,
he's Light Speed.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's one of the space ones I thought, but I can't remember exactly.
It was
Red Space
Lost
Ranger.
In Space. It was a Space Ranger, so it's Lost in Space.
There you go.
They had the
squares. Yeah, that guy. Because he apparently has shown up in like 3 or 4 other different Power Ranger generations as himself.
I think he was also in Lost Galaxy, which is the other space one.
Yeah, and I think he shows up in another one. It's like a weird, like
because it was Power Rangers Space in like 98 or something like that, and then 99 it was Galaxy, Lost Galaxy.
And he's in something else too. I can't remember what it is, but
I mean, he's a Red Ranger, so every now and then they always bring them back for special episodes.
Yeah, well, I think he comes back in like he isn't. I mean, it's not like rare that like Rangers will come back without their Ranger power, but like his went off to go do his own thing after not being a Power Ranger because he has some backstory I don't remember. And it's more of like he's just looking for revenge on his own, and then ends up falling into some of the Shattered Grid stuff at some point, I think. But I mean, like I think that they could probably do a Power Ranger thing, is like a kind of a gritty adult thing, but I don't know that they would have to be kind of careful about it. Because like I think a Netflix series would be fine if they could just do whatever. But I don't know that like Hasbro or whoever owns the rights now would be super okay with that, because it's like we want to sell toys, not like make a gritty show that kids can't watch.
Right.
Because like the Lightning Collection stuff's kind of like borderline collectible, but everyone that makes the high-end, really expensive Power Ranger collectibles are other companies, so I don't think Hasbro's like, yeah, let's do this shit. But yeah, I mean, Power Ranger shit's cool.
Some of it is. Some of it's really weird.
Yeah, some of it
I
just
remember
doesn't make it here because yeah, there's a reason.
Yeah, like the train one.
Yeah.
Uh, I had a thought, and now it's gone.
Yeah, good job. I never ruined that. Go me.
I know there's something I want them to do, and it would be like a Power Ranger special where it's like all the sixth Rangers.
That'd be cool.
So like you know how they always have like a sixth Ranger or like a faux
Yeah,
sixth
that
Ranger
kind
or
of
something
turns
like that.
around for him.
Yeah, like it was the Green Ranger, the White Ranger,
Yeah.
Lunar Wolf, the Silver Ranger, the Titanium. I don't remember.
Yeah,
Titanium, I think, is one.
Yeah, I think Quantum Ranger's another one. Then
Quantum. There's a lot.
Yeah, there's. I think that'd be a really cool special to do.
Cool.
A bunch of Six Rangers. I also forgot to mention because that's like you keep looking through Crunchyroll. I had started watching "Don't Toy with Me, Miss Nagatoro" like way before we started watching the podcast.
Oh no.
And I super forgot I hadn't finished the first season, and I like the second season is coming out, but it's not dubbed. I was like, well, fuck, now I gotta finish this.
Is that the one with the sadistic child?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's kind of out there, but I think I don't know why Nagatoro is kind of an interesting character. She's kind of mean and borderline psychotic in some instances. But when she's like, oh, I'm not being a total asshole, you're like, there you go. You can do
Isn't
it.
she like a child?
Actually, like a high schooler. I mean, just like any other anime. Listen, I'm not out here saying like throw this bitch in harem of the other worlds, but is this my dress up darling? No. But
no, it is not.
it's got some personality. Maybe a bit too much in some instances, but I might finish that. We'll see. That's what it was. I will probably, if nothing else interesting comes out this season, try to start. We'll see tentatively, but is it wrong to pick up Girls in a Dungeon because it's getting a new season? I haven't watched that at all. Maybe the Slime Isekai as well, because
Sevi has seen all of it. Yeah. I've seen all the slime, at least all that's out.
Because I think it's supposed to be getting another season, right? At some point.
Yeah. And a movie, I think.
Yeah, and then How the Realist Hero Rebuilt the Kingdom, because he's mentioned. I think both of you have mentioned some of those at some point. I'm like, I should probably watch the good isekai, so I don't watch the other ones.
Cody likes politics.
Yeah, I do. I think that's probably the Realist Hero might be the one I enjoy the most. But yeah, we'll see what we do end up watching. Not gonna lie, I might just decide to say fuck it and finish the Netflix dub of Vinland Saga, because Vinland Saga is really good. And since I've seen it, I can just throw it on in the background while I'm doing other stuff. But yeah, outside of watching very little anime, because not a lot of it exists right now, what else have you done this week?
I bought a VR.
Yeah, how's the VR world, the virtual realities? Are they virtual?
So, here's the thing.
Have you met any digital champions?
Are they digital monsters? Would they tell me if they were?
Legally, they have to.
Legally, you have to tell me you're a digital monster over and over and over again. Ad nauseam.
Also, tell me if you're a champion. I need to know your your level of winning.
Yeah. So the funny thing with that is that we bought it and it came in the mail, and it worked for like a couple of hours.
Oh shit.
And then Like I bought Blade and Sorcery, and I went to if it installed, I went to put it on, and I put it on. I got to the load screen, and so like the old like CRTVs, like when it's static and it's snow,
Yeah.
like it's just black and white and staticky. That's what happened to my field of vision.
Oh no.
Like I was looking at the menu, and then all of a sudden like flash banged with fucking
Oh.
static for like 10 seconds, and I was like freaking out, and then it died, and I think the battery fried in it because it couldn't be charged. The light wouldn't even come on. Like we left it on all night.
Yeah.
And we couldn't do a soft or a hard reboot or a factory reset.
Oh,
so
Jesus.
it was like dead as a doornail.
Yeah.
Because we tried troubleshooting it for like an hour and then we were like, we're just gonna leave it on the charger all night. Maybe something, who knows? Didn't work that morning when I went to work. So I, got a refund. I shipped it back this morning and got the refund today, which was nice. But that was like Wednesday. Yeah, it was Wednesday. And so then I went to work. Yeah, it was Wednesday after work, and then it didn't work Thursday, and I went to work and I told her, I said, we're just gonna refund it, pack everything back in a box, we'll take it up later. And then I was at work. I was like, well, Walmart's got them in stock. I was like, I'm not like I said just go buy another one. Like we're gonna return this one, so just go buy another one. And so went and bought another one and took it home, and it worked fine. So I just had to buy two to get one to work.
I mean, at least one worked.
It's still working. Pretty cool. Yeah, so I just shipped that one back today. So it's whatever. At least I had enough money to buy two of them.
Yeah. Yeah, at least you didn't get screwed, and
like I just had to spend $630 or whatever the fuck it was. I think it was like $325 after taxes. So I just had to buy two of them. So that was pretty fun and fucking stressful and annoying. But
yeah,
this one works. It's pretty cool. They got the metaverse because it's the Oculus. So they have.
You'll have to. I don't think maybe it's not out yet. You may have to check the Gundam metaverse and see what it's like.
See, I think this is like Horizons in the metaverse, so it's not like the actual metaverse. I don't know. It's really weird.
I still don't know what the real metaverse is. I'm very confused.
I don't know. This one's like VR chat owned by Facebook, so I don't know.
Okay, because I think that's what it's supposed to be, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Metaverse.
Blade and Source. I fished a little bit. Played a fishing game. Because it's not hot. I can sit in front of the air conditioner and play fishing.
Hell yeah. Fuck nature.
That Blade and Sorcery. That Blade and Sorcery is the real reason I wanted it, because it's that kind of like arena fighter, but
yeah, I remember
it's the one
Cole
with
after
all,
he had got his. I think we had all played it.
Yeah,
and you could get like lightsabers and shit in there.
See, I have to see if I can bot this one because it's basically like Blade and Sorcery Light. Because
it's like the headset, not the computer.
Because it's an all-in-one. So they had to basically, I don't know if they had to remake the game for like the all-in-one. So like there's not as much options available. But I want to see if I can mod it, because that would be kind of cool. Because I want lightsabers.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's still pretty fun because it's like realistic sword combat ish. It's physics combat.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember it was fun when we played it. I enjoyed it.
It's pretty cool.
Hell yeah.
There's a couple other things on there like Super Hot, Beat Saber, a couple Star Wars stuff. But,
isn't there like a Star Wars Vader thing or something for VR?
Yeah, there's like 3 episodes and for like $10 each. Yeah.
VR, it's a thing.
VR. It's pretty cool. I was scrolling through Facebook in VR. That was kind of cool. YouTube. There's a lot of like browser video games, like browser VR games that you can play, and those are kind of cool. But I walked in space.
How did that feel?
It wasn't as immersive.
I would
Because
imagine.
it wasn't, but it was pretty cool. Yeah, I see the appeal of it. It's just there's not as much. The games are like $25-$30. And it's like, but I don't know if I'm gonna like it.
Yeah, you kind of have to.
And it's like that. It's Viveport or whatever. It's like a subscription service, but it's for PC VR. So you'd have to have the VR hooked up to it. I don't have a VR capable. I don't have a VR ready PC.
Yeah.
Because I'm hardly ever on this thing.
Yeah. You don't want to buy a super fancy headset and then have to like rebuild your PC.
Yeah. It's just like $1,000 just for your minimum.
Yeah, shit's expensive.
But other than that, a couple Power Rangers things, anime. I'm gonna continue watching Vinland Saga.
Fuck yeah, I'm so excited about this.
I'm gonna continue asking Holly for her list of best boys.
Maybe or maybe we won't get them. I don't know. Maybe there are no best boys. Maybe all boys
She joins.
are trash.
She watches every week, so she's got the time.
So what you're saying is instead of listening to next week's podcast, just go make a best boy list and then come back to it later.
I mean, you just give us like 5.
5 best boys. Okay. Well,
and then we'll judge her taste.
So what we'll do is we'll just bug her for 5 every week until we have like a list of 100. And then we'll just be like, this is Holly's list of 100 best boys. And then the internet will be like, who's Holly? And we'll be like, you'll never know. It's our secret.
This is the list. If you don't like this, then fuck you.
Every other best boy list is irrelevant now.
It's irrelevant. Holly's list is the only one that matters.
Yeah, Holly is the expert on best boys of anime. Yeah, so that's yeah, so VR, I guess, in anime. So that's all you've done this week.
Sebby, what have you been doing?
Being dead.
Oh. Dead.
He's been dead for the week. He did tell us from the great beyond.
Yesterday.
Yesterday from the great beyond, he told us he'd finished Spy Family and Skeleton Knight. So next time he's back, we will hear his opinions on that. Maybe we may also forget, because I would be real honest. I don't think I'm gonna remember most of this from a week. Like in a week. Words are hard today.
We've been talking about the fucking Yu Yu Hakusho Netflix casting.
Listen,
because the boys finally have their casting, and man, it looks terrible. Apparently, there was a TV series that they already made in 2020, a live action that I didn't know about. Obviously, Netflix didn't do it, but I was gonna look at it because the casting looks way better in it.
That's super weird. Like, I would imagine, like, if it was like 2015, 2016, okay. That's kind of, it's still pretty recent, but it's enough time to be like, maybe we can redo this. But like 2 to 3 years, that's very close.
Yes. Yeah, it was it actually, like, I haven't seen just the pictures of it. Actually look okay.
Did they I mean, like, do they have any pictures of like the demon people? Like, do they look real jank?
Let's go to pictures.
I know most people kind of look like people, but like, you know, there's some that would require special effects.
Let's see, because there's Genkai and Yusuke. Because Kuwabara actually has kind of a pompadour, which is way better than the Netflix one where he doesn't have a pompadour.
Yeah. Yeah, like, kind of feels weird to not do that in the
Literally, his defining characteristic, besides the spirit sword, is his pompadour.
Yeah, that's like kind of an iconic thing for the character, but
yeah.
I mean, maybe if you were trying to do an updated version or some shit, but yeah, that still seems weird to not do that.
I think it was the stage play.
Oh.
Of course it was.
Hell yeah, stage plays for anime. Let's go. Let's get that 00 stage play. We'll get maybe we'll get a Witch from Mercury stage play. I don't know that Gundam's had any other stage plays. That makes me curious.
It's funny.
Stage play. Is it just the 00 one? Oh yeah, it looks like 00 is the only one that has ever had a stage play that I can see. Oh, Digimon got a stage play. That's a okay.
What the fuck?
Tokyo Ghoul, Haikyuu, which that kind of makes a lot of sense. This is people playing volleyball on a fucking stage. Okay. And Inuyasha. I kind of just like, hold on, let's see what other anime have had stage plays. Now I'm curious. Oh, it looks like, okay, here we go. CBR. What we got? Oh, okay. Death Note, Naruto, Bleach is a rock musical. My Hero, yeah, and there you go. You can listen to Bleach rock music. Doesn't Bleach have like a distinctively hip hop soundtrack? Or am I thinking of something else?
I think you're thinking of something else.
Okay, I didn't watch Bleach like more than like an episode or two, so I don't 100% know.
You can watch Bleach.
Yeah, but like I've already like not watched Naruto for like 3 weeks, 4 weeks maybe, so I feel like I should jump back on that before I do that.
Oh, I thought you watched it this week.
No, I haven't watched it this week yet. It exists on my computer. I just haven't messed with it yet. I did. That's what it was. That was the other thing. Okay. I also meant like I keep looking at like every time like I run out, like I finish something or I run out of things to watch. I'm always like, oh, that Bungo Stray Dogs looks really good, and Sevi had mentioned that he enjoyed it. And I open the page and then I just never go to watch it. So maybe I'll do that because it also has a stage play that's apparently really good. So we'll see, I guess. Maybe I'm just gonna stop watching anime and start watching stage plays. This would be a weird plot twist for me. Yeah, that's pretty much. I don't think I've watched anything else this week. I have been. I used to tell like on the weekends when I'm not at work. Taylor and I will like watch something. That's usually like where like Obi-Wan or Miss Marvel or something goes. But since we finished those and Umbrella Academy, we've been watching the show. She watched. It's a Showtime show called Yellow Jackets. Now, remember, I think I saw a trailer at one point, like a while back. But basically, it's this interesting story about like in the 90s, it's purely fictional, I think. I don't think it's based on anything real. Like, it's not like an adaptation of a true story, but I don't think it's like inspired by anything either. But basically, this high school girls soccer team is like on a plane to go play like national soccer or some shit, and their plane crashes in the woods in Canada. So they have to survive, but it keeps cutting back and forth between that time period and present day. And there's this weird, like, maybe magic shit happened, maybe it didn't, you don't know. It's actually really good. I'm enjoying it quite thoroughly. There have been a couple of shows like that she's been like, yo, we're gonna watch this, and I'm like, oh, okay, and they've been good. Raised by Wolves was another one that was really good. It Made for Love was another really good one. A lot of them are HBO shows, but
oh yeah,
HBO is out there slapping. I did like think yesterday, I was like, it's weird that Disney Plus doesn't have something going right now. Because it's always like a Marvel thing or a Star Wars thing going, but I can't think of what. I can't even think of like anything upcoming that I'm like, oh shit, that's gonna happen. I just like, I'm sure that there is, but I don't like. Maybe She-Hulk's the next thing, and I just forget She-Hulk exists because it looks kind of rough. And maybe I will. I don't know if we'll watch it because I don't. Maybe it'll be good. I don't know. We'll see. But I can't think of any other Star Wars. Like, I guess Andor's supposed to be coming out, but I didn't think that was like super.
I'm not like
soon.
Lined up to see.
Yeah, that'll be like, oh, okay, it exists. We'll watch it. Maybe.
The things I care about in Star Wars does not have to do with an ex-officer of the Imperial Army.
I'm trying to think of.
That's what he was, wasn't he? Cassian. He was an officer, wasn't he?
He was a rebel spy, but I think maybe he was like maybe that's how he became a spy. I don't remember, but I guess that's what the show's supposed to explore. But yeah, I can't think if there's nothing that like. I guess that's probably the problem of like doing Boba Fett and then Obi-Wan is like, where the fuck do you go? That people are gonna be like Ahsoka. That'll be good, but I don't think that's until next year or maybe late this year.
Like right now. No.
Yeah. And Marvel, I can't think of anything that. Yeah, I mean, I guess the new X-Men thing is supposed to happen like next year. Like X-Men 97 is getting a new thing.
Yeah, they're getting a new season.
Yeah,
I think, or something like that. It's supposed to be a continuation.
Man, if I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch fucking X-Men 97, I'll be really upset with myself.
You're gonna have to, unless they fixed it, you're gonna have to Google the chronological timeline to watch it in because they fucked up the uploads.
Great. Get ready to not watch this show because, bro, I mean, maybe I'll read like a Wikipedia summary because that's a lot of work. Okay, so let's see. Oh shit. Okay, so Disney.
That's a lot of work.
Listen,
that's a lot of work.
I might do it for something like Naruto, but I don't know that I'm gonna be like I'm gonna go watch. I don't even know how many episodes of X-Men 97 exist. I feel like it's a lot though.
I want to say like 60.
It's not as bad as I thought, but it still feels. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll do it. But I was looking to see. She-Hulk is the next Marvel thing. It comes out August 17th.
Oh wow.
We'll see if that's any good. Everything else looks to be late 2022, 2023, because Secret Invasion's the next Disney Plus show that's supposed to happen, but it doesn't have it. Just to be announced 2022, so maybe December or something. Nothing else has like a hard confirmed date. Yeah. What about Star Wars? What are we getting?
76 episodes, I think is what it has.
76.
Yeah.
How do I feel about that?
Because there's 5 seasons, I believe.
Ugh. I don't know. I might. Maybe someone will do a supercut and I'll decide to watch that instead.
76 episodes. Listen. Fucking my Full Metal was 64.
Listen. I can appreciate X-Men 97 now. I don't know that I want to go back and rewatch it. I don't know if maybe it holds up, but maybe it doesn't. And I mean, it's not like the new show is gonna be similar. I mean, the visual cues are there, but I don't think it's gonna be like. Well, what holds up?
That motherfucking intro.
Yeah, it does. It.
Talk about a banger.
Like. There is a weird tie-in to X-Men and Miss Marvel that is worth watching. Miss Marvel, like Miss Marvel's good in beside itself, but
are they introducing mutants?
They hint at it. It's
They
not
hinted-
like a formal, this person is a mutant necessarily, but
Right.
they're like...
Inhumans don't exist. They're mutants now.
I mean, that's kind of the vibe I think is they're shooting for, is that...
So, like, we already dropped the ball with the Inhumans, so we're not
Yeah,
gonna
they're
mention
like
them
someone... They're talking about an individual character, and they're like, it's almost like you've mutated, and then it plays the da-da-da-da-da-da.
Oh my god.
And I'm like, yo, this is super good. But yeah, it's a weird tie-in that you're like, oh, that's a different... But because like that's why it kind of feels like maybe that's the direction they'll take. But since Black Bolt existed in a canceled TV show and in Multiverse of Madness, maybe they'll be like, oh no, Inhumans exist. We're trying to throw some curveballs at you guys. But yeah, I mean, Miss Marvel's still really good. I mean, it's a good show in and of its own right. But X-Men. Andor is supposed to come out on the 31st. Bad Batch Season 2 is supposed to come out in 2022.
Is there any of the Inhumans anyone really cares about other than Black Bolt and Lockjaw?
Not really, probably.
I like Black Bolt. I like Lockjaw because he's a bulldog, but he's a dimensional traveling bulldog, a teleporting bulldog. That's fucking dope. But,
yeah, I don't think they're
the rest of the Inhumans, I was never like, oh man, this is awesome. I like Black Bolt.
Yeah, I mean, at least with like, you kind of got to have a little bit of fun with it with mutants, because like they always try to go to like, oh, maybe we can be cured, or there's some people that have just shit powers. But in humans, it's like, oh, you're just this way. You get fucked. You don't get to go back. You are this type of a thing now, and a lot of them are just weird fucking looking, terrible existing things. Yeah, nothing. Yeah, I guess it's just gonna be not a lot of stuff from Disney Plus and Marvel for the next few months that are like really slapping. Like, I'll probably watch Andor. I don't know that it's like gonna really blow me away, but it's something to watch. I would say I'm more likely to watch it than She-Hulk. Because the more I see She-Hulk's terrible CG, I'm like, guys, I know the industry's backed up and you guys are working overtime, but this looks real weird. And like, because it's weird because Mark Ruffalo is in it and Hulk's in it, I think. But then She-Hulk looks totally different and not good. Yeah, I think I mentioned to Taylor, I was like, it looks like they kind of Lou Ferrigno'd her, but worse. And then she's like, who is Lou Ferrigno? Like it went in reference as Lou Ferrigno to this, and I was like, bro, have you not seen Lou Ferrigno painted green? And then we looked up pictures, and he's literally just painted green. And it's like, yeah, I mean, we probably will watch it unless something else good is happening. Like, I don't know. Oh shit! No, fuck that. Probably because Game of Thrones is coming back. House of the Dragon, baby.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Dragon bitches.
For a minute, I was like, the fuck?
Yeah, we got dragons. We got Targaryens. We got some old Valyria.
In the Tolkien show coming too? Was it Ring of Power? What is it called?
Oh yeah.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, the one that no one's excited for.
Everyone was like, they're like, we're gonna watch it, but it looks like they went to fucking Spirit Halloween for their costumes.
Yeah, kind of like the D&D movie. They got a trailer.
I just now realized, like, I've never heard of it before until like I think yesterday. I was scrolling through Facebook and I saw like, hey, there's a trailer for Dungeons and Dragons. I said, what the fuck?
Yeah,
There's a trailer for what?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know that they were making one, but then I saw the trailer. I was like, oh, Chris Pine, this is a weird place for you to be.
Chris Pine's like, I haven't had, I don't know. When's the last time he was in? That was like a theatrical blockbuster.
At the Star Trek movies.
That's been a while.
Yeah, I'm sure he's been in other things. I just can't think of anything. Oh, he's in, Christ, I can't remember the name of the movie. There's something that's got, Florence Pugh and Harry Styles. It's like a 50s, 60s era thing that's like kind of weird government project built out in the desert type thing, but it's not like, hey, we're building a bomb. It's like, we might be torturing all of you and resetting your minds. Don't ask questions.
Wonder Woman was the last like blockbuster.
Oh yeah, fuck! I forgot he was in Wonder Woman.
The theatrical release. All the Old Knives.
All the Old Knives
was a movie that came out this year, but it's it's a thriller. So like yeah, Dungeons and Dragons. Because I saw the trailer flash up. Is that fucking Chris Pine?
It is. I'm trying to think.
I want to know what the fuck it's supposed to be. Like I think it looked like it's in the Forgotten Realms. I know you've never played D&D,
but this is the opposite of the politics discussion. It's like, okay, I'm just not going to talk because I have nothing to say here.
It's like, so I should watch it and talk about it.
Yeah, I'll go watch it and I'll be like, yeah, Chris Pine was in it, and that's the end of the conversation.
I don't think they even like. I want to know what it's about.
Yeah, I have no idea. I'm assuming that people have probably like written articles about it so already, because I imagine there's some kind of something out there to point to an idea of what they're doing, but movies on a weird like kind of stemming from Wonder Woman because that's Chris Pine. Do you think they're gonna release the Flash movie at this point, since Ezra Miller's like literally gone crazy?
I think WB's come out and say that they financially obligated to do it because of how much money that it costs.
Yeah, super
I think
expensive.
They would have to release it to make any money off of it, because if they release it to like streaming only, they're not going to make the money back, because I think it was like $200 million budget.
Yeah, it was not a cheap movie.
They're like, it's like Ezra Miller is not going to be with us anymore after this movie or something like that.
Yeah, I wonder if they're going to try to do some bullshit in the ending to be like, oh no, we have a different Flash now.
Someone recommended something. I forgot what it was, but it actually looked like it made sense. But I forgot who they were talking about being actual Flash.
I wouldn't be super surprised if they tried to pull the TV Flash, because he's pretty popular.
Yeah, but he's gonna be like older.
Yeah, it'd be time shit. I mean, it's not gonna be the same guy. Like they're not gonna recast Ezra Miller. They're just gonna get a new Flash. They'll be like, oh yeah, the speed multiverse exists. We have infinite Flashes.
Did you watch the Tomorrow War with Chris Pratt?
No, I remember. I think you had said it was really good, but I didn't get around to it.
I wouldn't say it was really good. I said it was good.
Okay, yeah, the correction there.
It was kind of cool. I mean, it's all right. It's mid.
It's pretty mid.
I just like that J.K. Simmons was in it.
Hell yeah.
But the guy that directed that is supposed to be doing the D&D movie.
I wonder if it'll be any good.
Apparently he has just worked on Adult Swim stuff.
Interesting.
And the Lego Batman movie.
Well, I mean, I was gonna say he knows what he's doing, but his quality is varying. But Lego Batman was good, so maybe he'll have another one, another good one. There we go. That's the word I was looking for.
The other writer, he's the other writer. He's wrote for Horrible Bosses 1 and 2.
Hell yeah.
He wrote the screenplay. And it's like The Incredible Burt Wonderstone.
Okay.
Did you see that one?
No, but I remember it.
I kind of want to see that again.
I remember it existing, and I was like, oh. And then just, yeah, that's the end of that thought. I was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2.
Okay. Weird, not the first one, but I guess the sequels don't always have the same director, so.
Vacation.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That was like the Chevy Chase reboot
Yeah, they're trying to bring the National Lampoon Vacation movies back, and they didn't do a good job, apparently.
What was this? Spider-Man: Homecoming. He did screenplay.
Okay. Well, he's
I don't know.
Varying quality as well, but he's got some good stuff under his belt. I'm trying to think of.
Oh yeah, fucking D&D movies. I mean, you got source material.
Yeah, we'll see how well it goes.
Because you got campaigns to follow if you want to do one.
Yeah, they could just
I forgot that
do it good or do it bad.
it's coming out next year in March.
I'm trying to think of any other.
Chris Pine plays a bard.
That makes a lot of sense. I had seen some people like posting pictures of Jaskier saying Jaskier walked so that Chris Pine could run. I was like, that seems confusing, but okay, but that makes a lot more sense now.
Fuck is this game?
Don't know.
I'm trying to see with the paladin. I don't recognize him.
He's a dude.
Well, I've never seen Mortal Engines.
Not him either.
I didn't notice him as wedding guest in Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1.
Damn.
He was also uncredited.
Such a critical role.
How is he famous? He's a British actor. Oh, I never watched Bridgerton.
See, you gotta watch Bridgerton so you know who that guy is.
Okay.
You gotta be like, hey, who are you? I need to know so I can watch the D&D movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't watch Bridgerton. I heard a lot of people talk about Bridgerton.
Yeah. I remember people being like, yo, Bridgerton's pretty good. I was like, okay. And that was the end. Once again, into that thought, I was like, no, I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find some plot.
You ain't gonna find no plot.
Going to a cemetery, looking for a helmet.
Looking for a helmet. This actually inadvertently brings up a thing I've been thinking about lately. So like, not the last podcast, maybe the one before that. We kind of talked about stuff we wanted to see in anime, stuff be animated. And I was like, man, a Fallout anime would be really cool. Since then, I've thought that's a fucking dumb idea.
Why?
So the reason this thought kind of had like turned was Amazon Prime has been in the works in doing a Fallout TV show.
Right.
And they're like, it's been confirmed they're filming, a bunch of set photos have been coming out. And I was like, you know what? I don't actually want this because like D&D kind of follows a similar path, but D&D's a little, I don't want to say more linear, but like it has some expectation. Like it has like an idea of where you're trying to go. Fallout kind of has that as well, but that's not the interesting portion. Like if you made a TV show about the main storyline in Fallout 4 of trying to find Sean and stuff, it's got its moments, but it's not like slapping. And kind of the same thing with Fallout 3 and New Vegas to an extent. But it just like the set photos, they look kind of okay, but it reminds me of Halo in the way that like, oh, why is this Chevy Tahoe 200 years in the future and in space?
So never finished Halo.
Yeah, I didn't either, but like I could laugh at the memes when I'd see them. But like the set photos, it's like, oh, they didn't like try to actually make the fake blown out cars. They just got old car bodies and sat them there. And it's like, I get the idea, and maybe it's a placeholder and they'll CG it in later or something. I kind of get the vibe they're not.
CG it, make it older.
Yeah, yeah, just, well, because, like, the cars in Fallout, for being very inconsequential things that are usually more of a hindrance because they just blow you the fuck up, have very unique looks. Like, they are obviously like very 50s inspired, but like they aren't based on, there's not like a real world example effectively, so they're not gonna like make that, which is a very minor thing, but it's emblematic of a larger problem of, hey, we're just gonna do this thing and you're gonna kind of just accept that this is our Fallout. And I was like, like all the cool shit that happens on the side doesn't get put in these shows. Like, right. The Halo show is kind of mid or bad depending on who you ask, because it misses the point of why Halo is fun. And for someone who doesn't play Halo, maybe I'm wrong, but just shoot bang alien multiplayer, that's it. Like, there's some world, but
no, bang alien is Mass Effect, Cody.
No, see, shoot bang alien is Halo. Bang alien is Mass Effect. Kind of weird that one doesn't have a. I guess it kind of falls in the same issue, but and it reminds me of like whenever they adapt something. And Amazon Prime's the one I kind of think about most. But like when they did Man in the High Castle, a bunch of people were like, "Yo, this book's really good." And then I was like, "Oh yeah, this show kind of sucks." Because, like, the world is way more interesting, and you putting these characters in front of me is distracting me from the world.
Right.
And it's not, like, in a good way. They're not interesting characters. It's like, oh, this lady is trying to get this thing from her sister to take to someone else, and I don't give a shit about any of them. Tell me about why the Reich and Japan are not on good terms anymore. What happened to America? Let's go. Let's find out. And it's just that. It's like, all of the really eccentric world building and detailed weird shit that goes on makes way more sense in a book. Like, there's not necessarily a middle ground that, like, Overlord has, where the book is great supplemental material, but the anime stands in its own right. And a lot of people like Man in the High Castle, so, maybe I'm just being a bitch, but, like, The Expanse also kind of did this to me, and I feel so bad because I wanted to get into The Expanse so bad because everyone's like, it's one of the best, most realistic, hard science sci-fis. And I'm like,
the show or the book?
The show.
Oh, okay.
And I was like,
I haven't. Oh, I think I've seen like 3 episodes of the show.
Yeah, I got through most of the first season, and I'm like, I can't force myself to keep watching this. Mm-hmm. But I've watched lore videos because I was curious, and I was like, I don't want to watch the actual show. I just want, like, give me the footnotes.
I'm a lore whore.
Yeah. Just feed me the lore, YouTube. Just do it. And they both take a very strange turn that I'm like, this is not... I'm sure these things happen in the book, so, like, it's not necessarily their fault, but, like, you've missed the entire point of why this is interesting. Of, like... oh, the weird internal politics of the Reich and its different areas and how it handles being a weird superpower that isn't really being a good like, it's not functioning as a superpower. It's just a bunch of blocks put together. And, like, the Imperial Japanese government is in decline. And then, like, Expanse, you have, like, the cool Mars shit and the Belters and the Earth and all of them kind of fighting it out. And then you're like, yo, aliens, bro. And you're like, what? Like, I get it, but that's not, no. And then the whole devolution of that. And I feel like that's what they're going to do with Fallout. As they're like, we can't tell a good personal story of just some rando in the Commonwealth or in the Capital Wastelands, or I think that the speculation is it's set in New York, so in New York. So we're going to be like, hey, this person is going to be kind of bland and walk through a really cool burnt out New York. We're not going to talk to the side factions. We're not going to talk to side characters. You get the run-of-the-mill story. Like, no.
The Amazon Fallout is set in New York?
It's the speculation. They haven't definitively said, but...
pretty sure there's not supposed to be anything left in New York because all the major cities got fucking bombed.
Yeah, I mean, you still have the capital in Boston, though.
Target.
Like, Like,
yeah,
like Boston, like you can't go to the southeast of Boston because it's just a wasteland, like a literal.
That's where the bombs hit.
Yeah.
So I feel like Manhattan would just be a wasteland, like a literal radioactive wasteland. Like
it makes me think, well, because
like a glowing sea, because that's where the fucking bombs hit.
Yeah.
So it's like all the cool stuff, like all the most notable things in New York would
probably. Yeah, I don't know, because it's not definitive, but some of the set photos were taken in Brooklyn, but they were in a studio in Brooklyn of the like vault interior. So I'm not sure if it's that they were just getting a good deal on space and they were just filming there, because they're also filming all the wasteland scenes in Montana. Once again, probably because it's cheap, but also Montana's a fucking wasteland because there's nothing there. But people were saying that like that was kind of the initial idea for Fallout 4 was to be in New York, so maybe they're taking some of that, but I don't know. It like, because another thing that kind of I'm not super thrilled about, which is a bunch of this is minor shit, but it goes back to the fucking stupid ass Starbucks cup in the final season of Game of Thrones. It's like, it's no one really gives a shit, and they're just kind of like, oh, we're doing our own thing, and that may not really appease the people that you're trying to appease by making a show in the Fallout universe. The set photos they show of like a super duper mart, which also has a couple of like burnt out cars, it looks like a strip mall. And I'm just like, I get that like it's a building and you kind of have to work with what you've got, but it just doesn't like feel like it's gonna be good. And that kind of like led me down the idea of like, well, okay, what would I actually want an anime adaptation of Fallout to look like? And it wouldn't be something that would probably exist, because they couldn't do it in like 11 episodes, most likely, or 12. Like, it would have to be 2 or 3 seasons of, oh, you get to, like, if it was like Fallout 4, you get your, like, portion where you're going to find Sean, and then, like, at the end, you get sent to be like, okay, now you gotta go find the Institute. Then maybe season 2, you run into Paladin Dan's and you do some Brotherhood shit. Then the next season, you fuck around with the railroad or...
Brotherhood.
Yeah. Like, you have to have those different instances, because all the interesting shit in those games are side people. Like, trying to find the Gek and help your dad in 3 is like, okay, whatever. I mean, it's okay as a story, but all the cool shit along the way was exploring the Capital Wasteland. In New Vegas, it's, oh shit, do I like the NCR? Do I like the Legion? Do I like Mr. House?
Or you could just do it for yourself, which is what I did.
Exactly. Like, there are a collective number of choices that go into making a final decision. And I think that even going on the quote-unquote kind of good, neutral path really alienates you from doing a lot of the cool shit. Because, like, you have to do some scummy shit to hang out with the Brotherhood. You have to do some really scummy shit to hang out with the Institute. You have to maybe do some illegal shit in terms of, like, journalistic integrity to hang out with Piper in particular. You have to do, like, some really interesting things with the railroad. And then, like, you as a character being put in the position of, oh, do I like the railroad? Do I like the Brotherhood? Do I say fuck it and go with the Institute? Or do I just do my own thing? Do I hang out with the Minutemen even though they really don't fuck with anyone else? Do I shoot at Preston Garvey because he won't shut the fuck up about settlements? I don't know. But I just don't think a series really can portray that same feeling of making the choice and exploring things. Because a lot of times it's, oh, we don't know if we're getting a second season. Get from point A to point B and be done. And then if you finish your main story, you don't pretty much get a lot of the rest of it. Like, if you finish the Fallout 4 story, you can't go hang out with the railroad because their mortal enemy doesn't exist unless you want to have them fight the Brotherhood. But I'm sure they could do it. I just don't think that. I think you would be better served making a Fallout-esque show that's not in Fallout versus making a definitively Fallout show. I still think Ace Combat would be a better, like, it would make a good anime, but I don't think Fallout has the choice.
Anime Top Gun, Cody.
Listen, I will not rest until I get an anime version of JPEG Dog from Ace Combat 7, okay? Ace Combat is here for it. We've got some dumb shit. We've got people just literally putting a JPEG of a dog with no movement in a scene and slowly zooming into it. That's the spirit I need brought to animation. But yeah. Fallout. Yes. It exists.
Cody wants to live there.
Listen.
He's a fucking idiot.
I'm not saying I'd live long, but I could probably get a story or two out of it before I did. Maybe. I don't know. It depends. Fallout 4 is pretty good. It's not great, but it's not terrible. I've done a bunch of shit out of order, though, I've realized. A lot.
Like what?
So, I was like, I don't really remember a lot of this as far as like people talking about it because it came out in like 2016. So I was like, okay, well, I'll just do the Sean thing. I'll go find Sean.
Yeah.
So I go find Kellogg, kill Kellogg, and then go out to the glowing sea. And they're like, oh, okay, you got to go here. And you find him. Like, I feel like I'm getting into some things I might want to just like slow down on. And most of this time I've had Nick. Like, I took Nick as fast as I could, and that was the only companion. So I go back and I'm like, well, shit, what do I do now? Like, I don't want to do that. And I was like, well, I guess I could do Brotherhood quests. But then I was like, well, I don't think I want to take Nick because they don't really like synths and I don't want them to like shoot me. So they're okay, I'm going to go take Piper and that'll be good. And then I was like, oh, but maybe I don't want to do that yet. So I do, like, I spend a shitload of time just doing Miniman quests because Piper was like, I like that. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm on the right track. So I did a bunch of that. And then I was like, oh, there are other companions. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to get Curie from Vault 81. I was like, I don't know if Vault 81's going to do anything weird. So I went and did that, and that was actually pretty quick. I was kind of surprised. And then I've just been...
I think you're supposed to start the railroad.
Yeah, so...
You have to start the railroad to continue on with
Curie.
The main story.
Oh, okay.
The main story. Because you have to find a way into the Institute.
So I did... like the first mission. I think I didn't accidentally do it, but I like ran across the stupid fucking red line.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, oh shit. Okay, I'll just do this. So I did the first mission for them. I had to look up a fucking guide on how to do the goddamn puzzle to get into their hideout because
supposed to spell.
Yeah. You spell, and I was like, I'm not gonna fuck with this. This is too much work. So I just looked it up because he says the things as you find the stupid things on the trail. I'm like, oh, cool, let's put it in, because why not? And then it does. I'm like, oh, fuck, I don't remember any of this shit. So I did their first mission. I was like, well, fuck. I don't want to get too far into this and then, like, alienate myself from Brotherhood stuff. So, like, well, maybe I'll go find Paladin Dan's. And I think it's, like, the first full mission you get after hanging out with Deacon, that like you can take him as a companion. It happens around the USS Constitution, and I was like, oh shit, this is a big ship. I'm gonna like look at this. I couldn't figure out how to get the fuck in the ship because when you go into the building, the door is on the roof, like it's on the bottom of the boat, but it's like your roof. And I didn't look up because I'm like, I don't know why I didn't think to look up, but I didn't look up. So I finally get in there and I do their whole little side thing. And then like they just crash on that other building. I'm like, oh man, now I gotta go help them again. So I started making my way there. And then Kiri stopped me and was like, hey, can I get a human body? I'm like, bitch, I'm busy. Give me a minute. I'm helping out robots. And that's where I'm at.
Have you been to Good Neighbor?
Yeah, I popped in there once for like a Nick quest because he had to go find. Yeah, so we had to take Kellogg's brain to that lady. But
Hancock.
yeah, I haven't gone back to hang out with Hancock or anyone yet. or the Silver Shroud stuff. Like I've got the costumes. I did that one out of order,
Yeah.
but
Well, we did the Silver Shroud stuff when we had
fuck face,
Facebook,
yeah.
fuck face.
I remember we had the Grognak costume too.
Yeah, Hancock is pretty cool companion. His quest line is pretty cool.
Yeah, I like because I keep meaning. So when I had Piper, I was like, well, I want to keep going back to Diamond City to see if she does anything because I know Mayor McDonough's got some shit going.
Do anything.
Yeah, and I'm like, this is really disappointing. Like, I do like her as a companion because occasionally she'll like be like, hey, I gotta do something, and then you get to like listen to her ask some dumbass questions to people, and then being like, what are you talking about? I'm like, yeah, you go.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, well, shit, I don't want to, like, I stopped going back to Diamond City for a while because I was like, well, I don't want her to, like, trigger the fucking Mayor McDonough thing because I know Hancock and him have, like, some things. So I was like, well, shit, I gotta go get Hancock. But then I'm like, I don't want to do Hancock's, like, trying to balance who I figure out to take with the Brotherhood, which I know is not going to be super inconsequential because, like, they're not going to be like, oh, you have a fucking super mutant or whatever with you. We're going to shoot you on sight, but I also don't want to, like, I don't want to upset my companions. And I found it real fucking annoying. Like, I took Preston for a little bit just because I was curious. It's like, I super forgot you could even take him places.
Fuck
And
that.
every time I picked a lock, he's like, I don't like that. I'm like, okay, well, you can get the fuck gone because, like, I got to pick some locks, bro. I gotta steal some shit.
I gotta steal shit. Fuck you.
Yeah. So I just sent him back to the castle, and I'm like, I'm never taking you anywhere again. You suck. But yeah, it's been a bunch of random things. I keep finding the other things. Like, I know I've got a, I think, there are a couple places I know that I haven't found, or like I just like haven't looked for. Like Covenant's another one that I'm like, oh, I know it exists, but I'm not gonna, like, yeah. There's a lot of stuff I just haven't found yet, but it's been fun. I've been doing stuff. I put like a shitload of mods on there.
Okay.
It's been a good time. I think I've
Fallout.
broken some mods on accident, but that's fine.
Fallout London's not for another year.
Yeah. So I think there are a couple of like big overhaul mods like that. I think there's.
Did you do the Manhattan one? Or did you see the Manhattan one?
I think I've seen a picture of it. I haven't
I
like.
forgot what it was called. It was fucking terrible. Not like, oh, it was made shittily.
Yeah.
It's just, it sucks because it's like nothing but like radioactive fog.
Yeah.
Because obviously New York got fucking nuked.
Yeah.
And it's just like nothing but super mutants, and I was getting murdered a lot.
I think there is.
Like, bro, I'm about to cheat. I'm about to open up fucking debug mode, type in God mode.
I think it's called Frost. I think is one. It's supposed to be like a hardcore survival one, but there's also like a. I can't remember. It came out like last year, I think, but it part of that I think was I think it's like Seattle or somewhere in Washington is where it's supposed to take place.
Yeah.
But I can't exactly remember. So I remember I watched someone play a little bit of it, and they were like, "Yeah, it's kind of jank." I'm like, "Oh, it's a Fallout game." I did most of the mods I put in were weapon mods.
Oh yeah.
Because there's just not a lot of weapons in Fallout 4. I tried to not go crazy because it's like, well, I don't want anything. Like, I don't want to just put like fucking Modern Warfare weapons in there. Like, that's just not the vibe I'm going for. I did put some Halo weapons in there though, because it's like this matches more, I guess. I don't know. But I did put some settlement editing mods to where you could like get rid of a bunch of extra shit. And I don't know how I broke this mod, but I went to some settlement where I had taken the roof off of their like pre-war house so that I could build like a new house on top of it. So I didn't want to move all their shit. And somehow I broke it so that all the shit I deleted is back, so the roof is in the middle of their house now, so they can't get to their beds. So I'm like, oh, these people, they seem pretty cool about not being able to sleep, but that's alright. Fallout, it exists. I might actually
That's-
finish it. We'll see.
Maybe. Oh God, Gimli.
Gimli's like, I got some shit to say, yo.
He busted through the gate and I was stepping on my cords.
He's like, fuck your chords. He's like, I'm the podcast now.
Nobody wants you. You just woke up.
He's like, I did. I've woken up and I've come to cause chaos.
Chaos console.
He's like, yeah. I am the chaos of this podcast. What was a good podcast without the threat of cables getting pulled out? Oh, there he is. What you got to say, Gimli? Say some shit. Nothing. Not even breath. It's like, I'm not even gonna breathe. That's my kind of chaos. He's just vibing. He's like, no.
He's like, I don't like this.
He's like, human, you can give me attention, but you will not pick me up. I will not be manhandled.
Yep.
I demand respect.
You are not respected.
He's like, how dare you? Respect my authority. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think that's all we've watched and or done or had to talk about.
Seppi's not here to
Keep us
Keep
on
us
track.
keep us on track, so this is what happens. It's chaos.
Yeah, it's chaos. So we just kind of randomly go into thoughts.
I've been drinking, so
I haven't. I've got some cider in the fridge, but like we went
I
to.
don't remember if I talked about that. It's the
I think.
it's that.
I think I did when I first bought them
Yeah.
because it's the old fashioned but in a can. So it's like whiskey, ginger, orange.
Yeah. I remember you talking about that.
It's a can cocktail.
It's still pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I might buy them again. I don't know. It was like $11 for. I guess it's bougie brand. I don't know.
And it's expensive because it's fancy.
I don't make my way into specs very much.
Yeah.
You don't really need. Like I still got.
Oh yeah, you still got. Yeah, good.
I still got a good amount.
Yeah.
I don't drink as much as I used to.
Yeah. No, I usually only drink on the podcasts, but we got groceries, then we got lunch and came back and like 30 minutes before the podcast started, so the ciders weren't cold. So it's like, well, shit, I'm not gonna drink warm cider. So
No, it's weird. It tastes completely different.
yeah, it messes with it a lot. But yeah. So
Yep.
Any other thoughts or things to say to the few people that watch us?
Watch Overlord.
There we go. We got Watch Overlord. I'm really hoping that next week that Sevi has watched Overlord and he's not like a couple episodes behind, because that'll get weird real fast. So like, if he hasn't watched season 3, and we're like, yo, Alberto's not boned, so she can't do some stuff, but she really want to bone. He'd be like,
Well,
wait,
I mean-
what?
He's seen season 3. He's just rewatching it.
Oh, okay. So I thought he hadn't seen it, so I was like,
Yeah.
this is gonna be. We're gonna have
Because
to.
I texted him about something. I texted him about Marquis Raven because I was like, I forgot how fucking weird this guy was. Because that's the one that's like super. Like all he cares about is his son, and he looks like fucking like hates his wife.
Yeah.
He talks to his kid in a little baby voice,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh fuck, I forgot this dude's weird.
Why is this dude weird?
Yeah. And then I texted that to Zebby. He's like, oh, he's like, I don't know who that is. I need to rewatch season 3.
Good old season 3.
So I guess that's it.
No, that's all for us
Okay.
this week.
I mean, if it's a podcast where you only talk about anime, you're gonna eventually
Run out of shit to talk about.
yeah, because we're not gonna watch everything.
Yeah. And
I'm not a slut.
yeah, we're still waiting for more stuff to get dubbed. So hopefully by next week, all of the dubs will have started. But we'll see, I suppose.
It's gonna turn into a Fallout podcast.
Hey, listen. That you want to find a way to make me stop playing Fallout, we'll turn this into a Fallout podcast.
Like, bro, don't make me start talking about Power Rangers. You don't want that.
Yeah, no. I'll be like, oh shit, I just realized I'm burning myself out on Fallout as I actively speak about Fallout. But yeah, so we'll be back next week. Maybe Sevi will still be in the Great Beyond. Maybe he'll be back. He just takes trips there, I guess. And we'll have
only talk about Dragon Ball.
yeah, this is
I can get a few episodes out of that. I can dissect GT on a podcast.
I just like to think that we're gonna do what Sevi had theorized or put forward to we have to watch Harem in Another World and make him guess what it's about. We would just do that for you and GT. I'd be like, yeah, it's furry Goku. I remember him. That's the Dragon Man with the spikes. I remember him. Yeah. So that's how that would go. But yeah, so that's been the podcast. We've rambled, and we'll watch more anime next week, maybe. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. We will see you next week. Keep it classy.
Fuck.
Sign offs are hard.